It has been a few months, at least, since Raven and Robin both got married. They've been happy more than anything else in the world. The two lovebirds of feathers that they stayed together no matter what. It was the two of them together, including the rest of the Titans, and then a new beginning was going to happen to them. Thank you so much for the gifts, Titans. They're wonderful, Raven said, smiling at the baby gifts that her friends got for her and the baby. It was not a problem, friend Raven, Starfire said, smiling. My adopted daughter Starflight will soon have a friend to play with. I'm glad to see you and Speedy have been together for a while, Robin said to Starfire. Yeah, Robin. Somehow Speedy and I started dating when I told him that I have adopted a child. Starfire replied happily. How old is Starflight? Cyborg asked Starfire as Starflight sneezed. She's about a year and a half. She's such a cutie. Starfire tickled her daughter's tummy as the baby laughed. She's so cute. I can't wait till my baby is here, Raven said as she placed one of her hands on her stomach. I bet he or she will be just as beautiful or strong or whatever as you, Raven, or Robin, Tara replied. When is the baby coming? The day could come in any day now. I am excited but nervous too, Robin said to Tara. Raven opened another present to be a mini cloak and a leotard, and it was pink. Aw, Starfire, this mini cloak and leotard is so cute. Raven smiled at the gift that she got from her best friend. Isn't it adorable? Starfire cheered happily. It'll look so cute on your baby if it's a girl. Do you and Raven know both what you're having? Bumblebee asked. Well, Raven used her powers and we found out what we were having. Robin paused for a moment. But we're keeping the gender a surprise. When he or she is born, we'll tell you what we had, Robin replied to the Bumblebee. I'm excited for my first child to be born in 7 months, Tara said. You're pregnant too, Tara? Raven asked. Yes, I am. And I have a great feeling that it's going to be a girl, Tara said. Beast Boy and I are excited. So Raven, your baby is going to have a playmate. I'm so happy for you, Tara. When we bring our baby home, Raven began, we'll call the Titans so they could come and see our new baby boy or girl. Sounds great to have all you Titans come to the tower to see the baby, Beast Boy replied. Do you think he or she's gonna have Raven's powers? Jinx asked. It would be something. I hope he or she has Raven's powers, Kid Flash replied. It would be really cool, the child having dark powers and stuff like that, Speedy added. Thank you so much, Titans. My baby's going to have the best aunts and uncles in the world. Raven smiled happily as the Titans all formed a group hug around Raven and Robin, congratulating the two on their first baby. Raven all of a sudden felt a sharp pain in her stomach, and it caused her to cry out in pain. Honey? Robin asked, as he rushed to Raven's side. What's wrong? He asked her. The baby, Robin. Raven breathed. I think the baby's coming. Raven moaned in pain. Now? Robin asked as he was close to a panic. Yes! Raven nearly screamed at Robin. The baby's coming. Okay, breathe. We gotta get her to the hospital, Tara said as Raven used her powers as she and Robin disappeared. Cyborg asked in confusion. I guess we'll all take my car. At the Jump City Hospital, Robin was holding Raven in his arms, bust through the doors. Please, someone help! Robin called out as Raven's moans of pain along with pants from her breathing were loud. It caused some of the nurses and doctors to hear what was happening. The baby's coming! The baby's coming! Robin shouted in a panic as one of the doctors heard what was happening. All right, sir, your wife is in labor, said one of the doctors. Yes, she is. You need to hurry, Robin said to the doctor, who nodded and then turned to one of the nurses. We need to get Rachel Grace into the maternity ward, the doctor called, as along with the nurses with the doctor, who heard about what's going on, led Raven and Robin to the maternity ward. Make way! Robin called out to the patients, and the other people in the hospital moved out of their way for him and Raven to get through the crowd. Wife in labor, coming through! Raven was in labor for 12 hours, and the rest of the Titans were in the waiting room, while Robin was in the delivery room with Raven. "I'm so excited! Raven is finally having her baby," said Starfire. "I'm excited too," added Jinx. "I hope she'll be okay," Cyborg said. Suddenly, Raven screamed so loudly that it sounded like she was being stabbed to death. All the Titans were shooken by the loud scream. "Boy, I could see how much that will hurt for me," Tara said, as the doctor came out smiling. "Is she okay?" Jinx asked the doctor. "Rachel Grayson has given birth to a healthy baby girl, and mother and baby are doing great," the doctor said proudly. Meanwhile, in the hospital room where Raven laid on the bed, she was holding her new baby girl. Robin was sitting beside his exhausted wife. "She's beautiful," Robin said to Raven about his daughter. "I know, Robin. I had a feeling she was going to look like me," Raven said. She looked at their little baby. The baby had gray skin like her mother. She also had purple hair, a red diamond on her forehead, and she opened her eyes to reveal that they're purple. "Raven, our daughter has your eyes," Robin smiled, tears rolling down his cheeks. "She looks a lot like you, but she sure has my smile." Robin looked at his daughter. "She needs a name. Now what do you think her name should be?" "Well, Robin, our names start with R," Raven said. "So let's see what names start with R for girls that we can name her." "Well, I'll let you decide on the name, Raven. We talked about names, and I think you should name our daughter," Robin said as he hugged his wife and child. "Why not we name her Rosalie?" Raven asked Robin. The Titan leader smiled at the name and kissed Raven's cheek. "It's a great name, Raven. Rosalie is Italian for rose," Robin said, as the baby looked at her father and smiled. "I think she likes her name. Rosalie it is." "I'm glad you like that name, Robin. When Rosalie is in the nursery, you could take your friends to go see her, and then they could come and see me when I'm more awake." Raven yawned as Rosalie started to cry. "Well, I think someone's hungry," Robin said, as Raven started to feed Rosalie, as she held Rosalie's head close to her, for her to feed on one of her breasts. After Rosalie was fed, she sneezed as her dark magic caused one of the hospital beds to lift up. "We're gonna have to watch over your magic, sweetheart," Robin chuckled as he held his daughter while she was being finished feeding. "I'll let her friends know that she's in the nursery, and then I'll take them to see you during the time you rest." "All right, Robin," Raven replied. A couple of minutes later, the Titans were going through the nursery, the window at the babies. They were trying to find Raven and Robin's baby girl. "Which baby is theirs?" Kid Flash asked. Looking around and ran out of nowhere, Robin showed up. "She's right there on the left," Robin pointed out at his daughter, sleeping, one of the babies for the nursery rooms. The Titans all stared at the baby. "She's beautiful," Jinx smiled tears of joy. "She looks like her mother," Starfire said proudly. "I know. She has her mother's powers," Robin replied, "but she has my smile." "Aw, Robin, your daughter is so beautiful like Raven is." Tara couldn't contain her excitement over the baby. She was so excited that she got to see the baby. "What's her name?" "Her name is Rosalie," Robin replied. "Rosalie Arella Grayson." "So nice name," Starfire said. "So is Arella Raven's mother's name?" "Arella is Raven's mother's name, so we both decided that it should be her middle name," Robin said, as Rosalie's powers made a bottle of milk appear when one of the babies were crying. The Titans were so surprised. "Wow, she can really do that?" Kid Flash asked. "That's really cool. How is it possible for her to have her mother's powers as a baby?" Jinx asked. "No clue. I guess she gets it from her mother's powers from developing inside of Raven." Robin smiled at her daughter Rosalie. "She's her mother's daughter, and she'll probably be a very strong Titan. But she'll always be Daddy's little girl. She'll make her mother and father very proud." After a couple of days, the Titans from everywhere came to see the Titan's tower to see Rosalie. All the Titans said that Rosalie Grayson was the most beautiful, and she does look like her mother. Although a few months after Tara had her and Beast Boy's child, the baby was a girl and her name was Vanessa, and Rosalie became good friends with Vanessa. Even she had a mixture of Beast Boy's powers combined with Tara's powers, she was strong like Rosalie. A few years went by, and Rosalie Arella Grayson, who is now 5 years old, has a 2-year-old sister named Renesmee Mary Grayson. She had the same powers as her mother and sister, but she had her father's blue eyes, and she had a mixture of her mother and father's hair color too. Rosalie was playing around Titan's Tower when Robin picked her up, his daughter. "Now, what are you doing today, young lady?" Robin asked his daughter. "Daddy!" Rosalie giggled as her father tickled her. "You always tickle me." Rosalie couldn't help but smile, but to laugh. "That's because Daddy loves you so much," Robin said as Rosalie began to levitate from the ground. "You sure are like your mother, Rose." Rosalie smiled. She liked being like her mother. She couldn't wait until she's old enough to fight crime. "I want to fight crime like you and Mommy, Auntie Starfire, Uncle Beast Boy, and Uncle Cyborg, and Auntie Tara," said Rosalie. "Someday you will, and Renesmee will both be able to fight with us. But for now, since we have a babysitter to look after you guys while we fight crime," Robin said to his daughter, as he picked up Renesmee. "Why can't we help you fight crime?" Rosalie asked. "You and Renesmee are much too young to fight crime. It's for grown-ups, and it's dangerous," Robin said to one of his daughters as he brushes Rosalie's hair. "And today's your first day of senior kindergarten." "I'm excited about that. In 2 years, Renesmee will be able to be in junior kindergarten," Rosalie said to her father as Raven picked up her daughter's school bag. "You'll get to see Vanessa, who's starting junior kindergarten, and Starflight," Raven said to her daughter. "I'm excited to go to school, but nervous as well." Rosalie began to speak. "I'm nervous because what if the other kids don't like me?" "They'll like you, Rosalie. Don't let any bad thoughts get to you." Robin kissed his daughter's forehead. "When you get home, you could tell Renesmee all about what school is like. And you're gonna have so much fun at school, Rosalie. We know you will," Raven said, as she and Rosalie flew to school. When Rosalie and Raven got to Jump City Elementary School, Rosalie was nervous. There were other kids from junior kindergarten to grade 8. "Mommy, I'm a little scared," Rosalie said as she gripped her mother's cloak. "Oh, Rosalie, you'll love school," Raven hugged her daughter when she crouched down to Rosalie's level. "School will be fun, sweetie. I'll be with you and here with your sister to pick you up," Raven reassured her daughter as the kindergarten teacher walked up to them. "Hello, Rachel Grayson," the kindergarten teacher said to Raven. "I see your daughter seems nervous for school." "Yeah, but I'm sure she'll be okay," Raven replied as Rosalie hid behind her mother's cloak. "She's a little shy." "That's normal for new students who are starting. So you're Rosalie Grayson?" the kindergarten teacher asked. Rosalie walked out from hiding and looked up at the teacher and nodded. "Well, Rosalie Grayson, welcome to senior kindergarten. My name is Miss Jones and I am your senior kindergarten teacher." "Hello, I'm a bit nervous," Rosalie said. "Well, you did great in junior kindergarten last year," Miss Jones replied, "and you're going to be going into grade 1 next year." Rosalie then looked at her mother. "Have fun, sweetie," Raven replied, smiling as Rosalie saw Starflight and Vanessa in kindergarten yard, so she went off to play. After a whole day of Rosalie's first day of senior kindergarten, Rosalie had fun on her first day. When she was home with her family, she and the rest of the Titans were all having pizza for dinner. "So how was school, Rosalie?" Tara asked. "Great. I had lots of fun with Vanessa and Starflight," Rosalie explained. "We learned counting, patterns, and letters." "Sounds fun," Beast Boy said as he had a sip of water. "So Vanessa, your day at school was just the same as Rosalie's?" "Yes, Daddy, it was the same," Vanessa replied. "Me free," Starflight called, and the Titans all laughed. After 2 weeks of being in school, Rosalie along with Starflight and Vanessa were in the schoolyard, playing with their dolls. "Look at my princess doll," said Vanessa. "My mommy bought it for me yesterday. She and Daddy thought that they should get more toys for me." That's a pretty doll, Starflight replied. Let's make a castle for our princess dolls. I love the idea. Let's get started, Rosalie said, as a basketball hit Starflight's head, as she begins to cry. Are you okay, Starflight? Vanessa asked her friend. My head hurts so much. Starflight sobbed as two boys pushed Vanessa. Rosalie was getting upset. Hey, don't push my friend! Rosalie called out to the two boys, who were not being nice to Rosalie or her friends. Then tell Starflight that she's a crybaby, one of the boys named Tommy said. Don't you call my friend that, Rosalie replied, as she was about to release her anger out. Your ball hit Starfire. Your ball hit Starflight, and your friend Max pushed Vanessa. Rosalie gave the bullies a stern look. Say you're sorry to my friends now, or you'll get it. Okay, Max said as he walked up to Rosalie. We're sorry for hurting your freaky friends. You're a freak too. Max pushed Rosalie hard that Rosalie fell onto the grass. She shapeshifted into a lion in its teen years. You pushed me, Rosalie growled in anger. I'll show you who's a freak. Rosalie said as a lion chased Max down for the playground. As she pushed Max so hard into the pavement, he scraped both of his knees, which caused him to cry. You freak hurts my friend, Tom said to Rosalie as she shapeshifts back to her normal self. You will pay for hurting my friends. You and Max called me a freak? Rosalie shouted angrily as she levitates in the air and picks up Tom into the air and throws him onto a tree. She was only doing that what she had to do. She wanted to defend her friends. Then a kindergarten teacher saw what happened, took Tom, Max, and Rosalie along with Vanessa and Starflight into school. The parents were called, and Rosalie was sitting outside of the school office. She was listening to her mother, along with the other grown-ups inside the office, to talk about what happened on the school field at recess. She's such a freak, a voice said, happened to be the father of one of the boys that bullied Rosalie and her friends. She doesn't mean to hurt anyone, Raven said. Miss Jones, you should expel that freak at once before she hurts anyone else, said Max's father, who was holding his son with the scraped knees. Now, Mr. Wilson, we can't say those things just because of a misunderstanding, Miss Jones replied. That freak shouldn't be around, said Tom's mother. She's a piece of work. Look, she was only defending her friends. She didn't mean to let her anger get the better of her, Starfire defended. What else can you, Miss Jones, do about the Grayson's demon child and her mother? Max's father said, only to earn a smack across the face by Raven. How dare you say that about me and my child? Raven said. Everyone calm down, Miss Jones said, trying to get everyone to calm down. Calm down? Tom's mom asked. Look at my son! Look at his son! That half-demon girl must die! Don't you dare say that about my child, Raven growled. Your kids pushed my Vanessa, Tara said, defending Raven. Rosalie was only defending her in Starflight. Outside of the office, Rosalie can hear everything of what was going on. She did her best to ignore it, but the voices of Tom's mother and Max's father being said in her head. Don't listen. Just don't listen, Rosalie said to herself as she had her hood over her head. Freak! That freak shouldn't be around. Stop it! Rosalie said under her breath. Demon child! That half-demon girl must die! She's such a piece of work! Rosalie couldn't handle hearing the voices in her head any longer, since those words that Tom's mother and Max's father said made her upset. Shut up! Rosalie said, as she said with tears watering in her eyes. I'm not bad. The boys that bullied Rosalie and her friends walked out of the parents with the parents, ignoring Rosalie, Starfire, and Starflight, along with Tara and Vanessa walked out of the office, and Raven walked out looking at Rosalie. You're lucky that you're not expelled, but you're suspended for 2 weeks, Raven said to her daughter, as Rosalie began to burst into tears. Raven looked at her sobbing daughter. Honey, this is the third complaint I've received this week. I excuse the other mistakes, but this is even worse than the time you almost killed the two boys as a lion. I'm sorry, My powers got out of control, and I just wanted the bullying to stop, Rosalie replied, with tears rolling down her cheek. Raven sat beside her daughter and wrapped her arms around Rosalie. Look, Rosalie, I understand you were only defending your friends, but you hurt those boys as they hurt you, Starflight and Vanessa, Raven replied, as Rosalie cried in her mother's arms. I can't control my powers, they just get out of control when I get upset, Rosalie said to her mother through her sobs. I was in that situation too, Rose. You'll have to learn to control your powers, Raven replied. That is your weakness if you can't control your powers. I'm trying to control them, Mom, but I lose it every time. Rosalie hugged her mother. You'll learn more as you get older, sweetie, Raven replied as she took Rosalie home from school. Meanwhile, at 9 p.m., after Raven put Rosalie to bed, she walked into her bedroom with Robin on her bed. Robin, we need to talk about Rosalie Grayson, she says to Robin. Okay, what is it about? Robin asked, as Raven crawled into bed. She lost control of her powers at school today, Raven began to speak. The bullies pushed Vanessa and Rosalie, and they even threw a basketball at Starflight. Robin was shocked. She's showing her weakness. Losing control of her powers will make her weak, Robin said to Raven. We gotta get her to control her powers before they get out of hand. I understand that she's just a kid, but she's making me feel worried about her in the future. What if she can't control her powers? Robin asked. I'm sure she can control them. She just needs practice, Raven replied to Robin. But I do worry about her. But since Renesmee has the same powers along with her as well, what if Renesmee has the same problem? Raven asked Robin. I'm sure we can handle the girls. They'll need to learn to control them as they learn. Robin laid down and pulled Raven down with him. He kissed her cheek and smiled. They'll learn, sweetie. You'll see, he said.